Yo, what's good guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be going over the match day 3 day 2 matches. We got some very good matches on this day and I'm very much looking forward to it. So let's get started into the video. Let's not waste any more time. And number 1, the first game we have is Atalanta versus Celtic. This game could be very interesting, so let's get started with Atalanta. As I say in every video, they are the Europa League winners from last season. I gotta say they're looking quite good, starting the campaign with a 0-0 draw against Arsenal. Then they moved into match day 2, winning 3-0 against Shakhtar Donetsk. Lookman is one of their star players and he has actually told many people that he wants to leave and seek a new challenge. On to Celtic, they're looking not too bad. They start their campaign very well, beating Slovan Bratislava 5-1. But match day 2 was even more of an interesting one. They got thumped. Dortmund destroyed them 7-1. Absolutely insane. And I feel like Celtic will struggle in the next few games probably, and in this game as well. So my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Atalanta. Now we have Brest versus Leverkusen. This is going to be such a good game in my opinion. So let's get started with Brest. They're doing quite well in the Champions League Matchday 1. They had a bit of a tight one, but they won 2-1 versus Sturm Graz. And personally, I think Brest are probably one of the most underrated teams in the competition so far. And matchday 2 I thought would be a more tight game, but they ended up getting a huge 4-0 win against RB Salzburg. Onto Leverkusen, we all know how good they are by now. They faced Feyenoord in matchday 1 and they won 4-0. Then in match day 2 they had a more tougher opponent, AC Milan. Leverkusen came out on top and won that game 1-0. Boniface being the difference maker, and they have so much quality in that team. And my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Leverkusen. RB Leipzig versus Liverpool, very good game this is gonna be. So let's get started with Leipzig. They have not started the campaign well. They have had some fairly tough opponents. Match day 1 they faced Atletico Madrid, which they lost 2-1. And match day 2 was a fight for them as they faced Juventus, and Juventus still are in very good form. That game was very high scoring, ending 3-2 to Juventus. Xavi Simons is a young baller, very talented player as well. Onto Liverpool, they're looking incredibly good this season. In match day 1 they had to face AC Milan and they did very well, beating them 3-1. Match day 2 they faced Bologna, winning 2-0. Salah and Diaz have been absolutely incredible this season. Arne Slot really was the right man, in my opinion, to take the job after Klopp. Now my prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Now moving on to Man City versus Sparta Praha. I think it is really pretty obvious who wins this, unless we get a surprise out of nowhere. So let's get started with Man City, one of the most successful clubs in recent times, one of the best clubs in the world at the moment. And match day 1 they had a rematch from the 22-23 Champions League final. They played Inter Milan and they drew 0-0. Moving into match day 2 they faced Slovan Bratislava, which in my opinion are the worst team in this competition at the moment. City won that game 4-0. Haaland, obviously a unreal goal scorer and honestly just a robot when it comes to scoring goals. Onto Sparta Praha, they are generally doing quite well, unbeaten in their matches so far in this competition. In match day 1 they did very well to beat Salzburg 3-0. And played some very good football in that match. Match day 2 was a tougher opponent in Stuttgart, where they drew 1-1. And I think this team we gotta keep an eye on, definitely throughout the whole campaign. My prediction is gonna be a 3-1 win for Manchester City. Now Barcelona versus Bayern. This is gonna be a absolutely amazing match. We must all remember their 8-2 win for Bayern against Barca. Hopefully that happens once again, would be very entertaining. Let's get started with Barcelona, looking not too bad to be fair. Hansi Flick is in charge, and when they lost 8-2 last time, Hansi Flick was actually coaching Bayern, which is pretty crazy. Match day 1 they faced a very good Monaco team and they lost 2-1. Match day 2, they bounced back, winning a whopping 5-0 win against the Young Boys. Leva and Rafinha seem to be back to their best under Hansi Flick. Now on to Bayern. Bayern have been pretty decent so far. They have appointed a new coach in company, and in match day 1 they faced Dynamo Zagreb, and well, that game was crazy. Bayern ended up destroying them 9-2, 4 goals for Harry Kane. Speaking about Harry Kane, he is doing very well at Bayern. Maybe the trophy for him is coming soon, and that trophy draw may disappear soon, but I think this team under company will be great, and my prediction is gonna be a 2-2 draw. Now Atletico Madrid versus Lille, another very good game right here. So let's get started with Atletico. They're doing alright this season so far. I'm interested to see if they play more attacking football or defensive football. Match day 1, they faced Leipzig and got a solid 2-1 win, moving to match day 2 where they lost 4-0 to Benfica. That is crazy. You do not expect that to happen at all. You don't see Atletico Madrid lose by that scoreline often. Now they got some quality players like Griezmann and Alvarez and many others. Onto Lille, doing pretty decent so far in this competition. Match day 1, they faced Sporting, a very good team, and they lost that game 2-0. Match day 2 is where they redeemed themselves and surprising a lot of people, winning their game against Real Madrid 1-0. Jonathan David scoring a penalty, and he has been very good for them this season. So let's see how they do going into this game. My prediction is going to be a 2-1 win for Atletico Madrid. Moving on to Salzburg versus Dynamo Zagreb. Battle of the worst teams here, that's what I think. And let's get started with RB Salzburg now. They're struggling a lot in this competition, losing their first game 3-0 to Sparta Praha in match day 1, then losing 4-0 against Brest in match day 2, and they have not scored any goals so far, and I have a feeling they will keep struggling. Onto Dynamo Zagreb, struggling a bit in this competition. They have suffered a 9-2 loss against Bayern. They could have been more, and after that their manager actually got sacked as well. And match day 2, they faced a very good Monaco team, and they held their own and drew 2-2, and I wonder if they could start pulling back points after that draw. Now my prediction is going to be a 1-1 draw between the two. Moving into Benfica versus Feyenoord, this game could be even tighter. So let's get started with Benfica. They're looking pretty good so far. I expected them to do quite bad if we're being honest, but they're proving me wrong once again. Match day 1 got a very good result against Svenna, winning 2-1, and their next matchup was going to be tough versus Atletico Madrid, and they did very well again in match day 2, beating them 4-0, which is crazy. Di Maria still an absolute baller for that team. Onto Feyenoord. Feyenoord are looking not too bad. Started their campaign with a 4-0 loss to Leverkusen. Leverkusen are a very good team, as we have seen last season. In match day 2, they played Girona and managed to secure a 3-2 win. 2 own goals came from Girona, which gave Feyenoord the win, and I'm interested to see how Feyenoord do against Benfica. Now my prediction is going to be a 3-1 win for Benfica. Now Young Boys versus Inter, the last and final game. This game we probably know how it will end, so let's get started with Young Boys. They're looking pretty terrible, if we're being honest. I thought they would be fairly decent, but I guess not. And match day 1, they faced a new team in Europe, Aston Villa. Aston Villa ended up winning that game 3-0. And the next game was even worse for Young Boys, as they lost to Barcelona 5-0. That's a big yikes, and they need to change some stuff up because it is clearly not working. Onto Inter, they're looking quite good. They've been doing quite well in the Champions League the past few years. Match day 1, they actually faced Manchester City and they drew 0-0. Lautaro, I think, has been one of their most important players in terms of goal contributions. And match day 2, Inter faced Svenna, and they won comfortably 4-0. Bastoni has been a top center back for them. Even when it comes to the midfield, he crosses it in from time to time. And I see Inter doing quite well again this year. And my prediction is going to be a 4-0 win for Inter. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.